Thanks, Dr. Harris. I think it's not going to play.
So Dr. Lewis, in Tulsa?
So we can sit for a moment. Bye sometime.
Yeah, we see only the ceiling.
Yeah, don't see us.
Now, for some reason, it's still,
Can y'all see us okay now?
it's only interesting.
Just took the camera down. The camera should be on top of the monitor.
Right.
Just tilt
Can
it
you
down.
flip the whole thing up and put it somewhere else?
Put it down.
No.
No, the whole
The
thing.
computer monitor. To your left, I think.
Is he talking about this camera?
What camera is that? Oh, you're talking about that.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Looking at the wrong thing.
Just pivot down.
Okay. You see everybody now?
I think so.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Sit here and have to block.
Where are you sitting? The camera doesn't work?
Yes, it's working now. Yeah, it should be okay. You sit right there.
What do you say? But since we don't have a microphone, this is not going to move around.
Can you hear it?
They can hear, yes. This camera on the top.
The camera is not on, working on the top. They're using the one, they're using the little thing right there.
Here.
Yeah.
You want to put it down here and turn around the monitor?
You can do whatever you think is best.
Pretty
I think
clear.
where it is now, they can see us.
They can see us. Okay.
Why don't you move in a little bit?
Dr. Haynes, are you able to transmit your video?
Yep, we're recording right now. We're all set.
Your picture? Are you
Oh.
able to?
Hello, everybody.
Huh? No, we're not. Yeah.
Okay, let's stop there. What time is it? Okay. Okay, we're just gonna wait. Good morning, well, afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. We're just gonna wait 2 more minutes because I know we have some faculty that are on their way.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to turn it up some more?
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Where's Cindy?
Want me to make a copies for this? Yeah.
Second here, we've been communicating.
Bring echo. Yeah. Who? Oh, okay, yeah, got it. Okay. This, yeah. Okay, we are in the conference. Can you get yeah, 610. I am in the conference. Thank you.
Okay, well, can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay. And I know we may have some coming. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to our Brownbag Inclusive Learner Center Teaching, University Faculty Development and Collaborative Partnership for Learner Center Teaching Networking Seminar Session. We're elated to have you with us today on behalf of the faculty from Langston University, Purdue University, right? Give them a hand wave there, Purdue University, and University of Kentucky faculty. We are just elated to have you present with us. This is one of the numerous seminars that we'll have through 2018, continuing on to spring 2019. We also, I would like to, you can come on in. I would like to just take this opportunity to introduce the team for the Learner Center Teaching Project here. I'm Dr. Olympia McGowan, professor here at Langston University Tulsa campus, and I'm also the PI of the Learner Center Teaching Project. We have Dr. Zing. Dr. Zing, can you stand up? You might want to come over here on this side so they can see you. He's also the
Yeah, this is Steve Zeng at Langston University campus.
He's our co-project director of the Learner Center Teaching Project. You want to say hello to the group?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome to this initial seminar at Langston University. And we shall connect and get things going for serious seminars in the near future.
Okay, I'm going to turn to the PowerPoint right quick so you can see on the screen the team and participants. Also, we have Dr. Philip Lewis, that's one of our faculty coordinators for the Langston Tulsa campus. Dr. Lewis, would you like to say hello to the group?
Hello, group. Welcome to the group, and I'm glad to connect with you.
How do you go to the next one? Okay, our project administrative team, as I mentioned myself as PI, Dr. Neil NeBlock, he serves as the co-PI at Purdue University. He's a professor in ag science, education, and communication. I mentioned Dr. Levon Esters. He's associate professor there in ag science and education and communications at Purdue University. Dr. Zing, we've already introduced him. And Dr. Brian Hain. He serves as our evaluator of the project, the LCT project. He's at the University of Kentucky, associate professor in community and ag education. Brian, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure.
Okay. I need to go back. How do I go back? Okay. Okay, now I would like to, let me see everybody's picture. Okay, now I want to take this opportunity to give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves. We have several guests in the audience that's with us today. and I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. And also, this is not a typical seminar where Dr. O is going to just teach, and or preach. This seminar is very engaging, and we're going to take this opportunity to learn and network from each other. We started this project actually back in 2009, 2008, where we wrote a grant between Purdue University. Dr. Esters, you remember that?
Yes, I remember it.
It was one of our first grants, and we were very successful with the project. We not only had seminars for faculty, but we had LCT conferences. And a lot of you that are present here today, give me a hand wave, you remember presenting at those particular conferences. But a lot of faculty wanted to know, where did it go? Where did it fall off? What happened? And so now, of course, because of funding, we had to kind of take a little break, but now we're funded again. So let's give our funder a hand, USDA, NIFA, the National Institute of Food and Ag. Let's give them a hand. So Dr. McLaurin, who is the National Program Leader for the Division of Community Education at the Institute of Youth and Family and Community at USDA, he was planning to join us today. I'm not sure if he's on. If he's on, everyone, let's just say welcome, Dr. McLaurin.
Welcome,
Dr. McLaurin.
Okay. We also have with us today, and you can introduce your guests that are in the room. We have this collaborative effort. Let me explain this to you. This collaborative effort is not only between Langston University, Purdue University, and the University of Kentucky. This is a collaborative effort between other 1890 and partnering HBCU institutions across the United States, and all, of course, other participating institutions. So we're very excited about this. I don't know if you know, but I will tell you, just in case if you don't know, this is a national model. Langston University, Purdue University, University of Kentucky, Southern University, Alcorn State are participating partners. We're known on a national model for learner-centered teaching. So let's give that a hand. So you noticed I said the word partner, right, Brian? So that means we're not showcasing one university, even though I know you're proud of your colors, you know, and all the hoopla that goes with it. But we're not showcasing one university over the other, because we're here to learn from each other. Methods that best help us in our teaching and learning process. We have to be honest with ourselves as administrators, as professors, as instructors, sometimes even as staff. Sometimes we struggle. We struggle sometimes when it comes to the teaching and learning process. And sometimes there's that fear of the unknown and not wanting to share and share within our silos, much less share outside of our silos. So this will give you an opportunity to continue to network with other professionals in your fields, administrators, professors, colleagues in your field as it relates to learner-centered teaching, okay, in the teaching and learning process, okay? We'll take this opportunity now. We also have present, I don't know if he's here yet or not, or if he's logged on, and let's give them a hand also from Alcorn State University, Dr. Kenneth Stallings, Professor in Ag Science, and Cassandra Vaughn, Professor of Veterinary Medicine. Let's give them a hand. We have Dr. Sharia Lane Mackey from Southern University. Dr. Mackey, okay. Can you tell them a little bit about yourself, Dr. Mackey? She is one of our LCT partners, and she's been one of our partners for a number of years.
Good morning or afternoon to everyone. I'm Dr. Sharia Lane. I am an associate professor of child development and family life at Southern University in Baton Rouge. I have also been a keynote speaker during one of the previous LCT conferences, and I'm just really excited about this project kind of moving forward again. It's wonderful. The teaching techniques and everything were awesome when I utilized them within the classroom. Purdue came over and did a site visit at my institution, which was also really, really awesome. And it's just really a great project. I'm glad to be here.
Let's give her a hand. Thank you, Dr. Mackey. We also have one of our new collaborating partners on behalf of Dr. Robert Carr, assistant, she's Sheena Meadows, and Sheena has a guest with her also. Assistant to Dr. Carr is the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs from the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Let's welcome them.
Thank you.
Sheena, can you introduce yourself and your guests?
Yes, good afternoon. Again, Sheena Meadows, pleasure to be here with you all. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Can you? Okay, all right. And then so with me also is Mrs. Dora Sanders, who is the director for our Center for Teaching and Learning here on campus. So here from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and we're excited to be on this call with you all today.
We also have Dr. Alton Johnson that will be joining us if he's not here already. Dr. Johnson serves as the Dean and Research Director and Administrator at Central State University in Ohio. I think Dr. Harris, is that one of your alma mater?
Yay.
All right, now let's give it up for Central State. He was, and you're gonna really give him a hand when I tell you this, and he should be logging on too shortly. He was instrumental in helping Central State University to acquire their land grant status, and that's major. So let's give him a hand. We also have our friend from California, Dr. Donald Bear. Dr. Bear, okay. All right, oh, they want to clap for you already, Dr. Bear. Dr. Bear is Professor Emeritus of Iowa State, correct?
Iowa State, yes, that's right. And University of Nevada, Reno.
University of Nevada, Reno. And he's also served on the International Reading Association from 2014 to 2017. He's very active internationally and within the United States. He is an author, he is a publisher, and he is an expert on reading. But what's so important about his published work and his books is that a lot of his published work deals with reading and learner-centered teaching. He doesn't really show an activity or a strategy without doing something that's learner-centered. So Dr. Bear, would you like to greet the group?
Hello, I'm looking forward to learning from you guys today.
So let's give him a hand. Awesome. Okay, Dr. McLaurin is on. I see Dr. McLaurin from USDA. Hello, Dr. McLaurin.
Hello, Dr. McGowan.
Okay, Dr. McLaurin, as I mentioned, is the National Program Leader, Division of Community and Education, Institute of Youth and Family Community, USDA, National Institute of Food and Ag. He is the head of the program. He's our evaluator, our program leader, and also he evaluates all of the capacity grant programs. And he doesn't actually serve on the board that judges them, but he oversees the funding. So Dr. McLaurin, would you like to greet the group?
Sure. Good afternoon here from Washington, D.C. I'm just pleased, to be able to, kind of sit in on the session. It's not every day that I get to actually experience, the projects as they take place on the ground. Because of the number of projects that I have to manage administratively. So we currently have, in terms of the 1890 program, 163 active projects. So I'm just pleased to be able to sit in on this session and to learn and also see what folks are doing on the ground. So I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. McLaurin. We also have has joined us is Dr. Lisa Weiss, who is COO and Associate Vice President for the Langston Tulsa campus. Let's give Dr. Weiss a hand. Dr. Weiss is not only administrator, she's also a faculty when she has time. She'll teach from time to time. Dr. Weiss, you want to say hello to the group?
He's in the another meeting coming up soon.
Here I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Hello. I joined from my office. I apologize for dropping in late. I'm looking forward to learning more about learner-centered teaching.
Okay. Great, great, great. So I think we've covered everyone. Am I correct? I heard from Brian, Dr. Esters. Would you like to say something first before I need to introduce our group here at Langston University? Dr. Esters?
Oh, yeah, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Greetings from West Lafayette, Purdue University. I'm here, as was mentioned earlier, and I've been involved with this group ever since 2008, 2009, when I was previously at Iowa State University, but now I've been at Purdue now nine years, and so I'm just pleased to be reconnected with Dr. McGowan and the rest of the entire group of them. So I'm just looking forward to participating today and learning from all of you as well. And I'll hand over to, we have one other guest here with me today. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Wu Jay. I'm a second year PhD student at Purdue University and Dr. Knobloch's graduate student helping with this project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And now I want to introduce the Langston University faculty that has joined us, the faculty and staff, and some of our students that have joined us. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
I'm Professor Chiwa, Associate Professor, Department of Healthcare Administration, Langston University. I've been here for 30 years.
Yeah, Franklin Fundo, Child of Promote Technology.
Speak loud for me, please.
Meshach Sagini, Associate Professor of Political Science and Social Science. I've been here for 27 years, author of 5 books and a variety of papers.
Mike Hamilton, Assistant Professor of Management in the School of Business.
Make sure you speak loud.
I'm Julia. I come from China. No, I'm a visiting scholar and do some research at the institution. I'm glad to hear.
My name is Ali Hussein. I'm a PhD student from Oklahoma State University.
I'm Luana. I'm from Brazil and I'm visiting scholar.
Greetings to all. I am Dr. Abia L. Davis, Chairperson and Associate Professor for the Department of Family and Consumer Sciences, where we offer a degree in Family and Consumer Sciences with options in early childhood education and child development.
Thank you, Dr. Davis.
I'm Dr. Malcolm McCallum, Director of the Aquatic Resources and Aquaculture Center at Langston University. I teach natural resources courses and clean up around the place at the end of the day.
I'm Arthur Goach. I'm the research leader for the American Institute for Goat Research.
I'm Clark Williams. I teach agribusiness courses here.
I'm Jolie Delgado. I teach family and consumer sciences courses. I'm Desiree Moore. I'm a student here at Langston University.
Donna Foster. I teach family and consumer sciences.
Hello, my name is Christina George. I'm a candidate for my PhD in nursing education at the University of Northern Colorado, and I am a nursing faculty from the Tulsa campus.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Tillahan. I'm a research scientist and teach a couple of courses here at Langston University.
Roger Markle, work for the American Institute for Goat Research.
I'm Bill Gaffney. I'm here for technical support.
He's everything to everybody. He won't tell you that, but I will. Okay, on the Tulsa campus, introductions, please.
Good afternoon, Hussein Sarjipema from the School of Business. I also presented in one of the conferences before. I'm Dr. Perry Sanders with the Rehabilitation Counseling Assistant Professor Master's Program. I also participated in the student-centered sessions previously in Tulsa.
Emily Patterson Harris, School of Education and Behavioral Sciences on the Tulsa campus, and a proud graduate of Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Dr. Lewis.
Dr. Lewis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Lewis. I'm graduate coordinator of the Master's Program in Rehabilitation Counseling, and I have participated in the Learner Center conference as well.
And Dr. Lewis is one of our faculty trainers also. So before we get started with the dialogue, I'm just going to tell you a brief information about the project. First of all, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to log in with faculty and administrators across the United States. So give yourselves another hand. And Dr. NeBlock, you see this picture here, Dr. NeBlock, he couldn't be with us today. His grandmother passed. And so, of course, he had to attend to family matters with his family and the homegoing of his grandmother. But Dr. NeBlock has served as a guru in learner center teaching for a while now. So he actually started back at my previously institution working with faculty as it relates to learner center teaching. So this is not something that we just created a year ago or 2 years ago. We've been doing this for a number of years. But what we found out to be very successful in learner center teaching and faculty and administrators across the United States is that we have to collaborate with each other. We're good at going to conferences. Do I get an agreement? Say yes. We're good to going to meetings, right? We're good at that, right? We're good at going to community meetings, but then we go back to our silos, and then we go back to doing some of the same things that we used to do instead of communicating with other faculty and other members across the United States that can really help us in our teaching methodology, in our teaching pedagogy, and even in our administrative duties and styles. It's okay to share, and it's okay sometimes, and I know in this world of the give and take, it's not cool to say weakness, but sometimes we do have challenges and weaknesses, but we have to talk, we have to share with each other. So basically, this is just an open, authentic dialogue today. The objective number one was to introduce ourselves among each other. Okay, you mentioned you were a graduate student working on your PhD, some of the other ones. There are struggles that you may go through, even while you're teaching some of the classes. There are things that you go through. But this is not a griping type of environment. It's an environment where we're going to encourage each other and learn from each other. Okay, so while I'm going through this, I want you to think about a question. Okay, Dr. Zing, he's going to stand up and we're going to have moderators at each of the sites, and you kind of moderate at your particular site. Okay, so the question is, okay, why do you think learner-centered teaching is important? Okay, you might want to jot that down. Why do you think learner-centered teaching is important? And I'm going to come back to you, but in the meantime, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the project. The other thing that I want to know from you is, a second question is, how are you currently I want you to share some of your learner-centered teaching experiences and or student engagement experiences at your university campuses. Then the last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to come up, since we're going to be doing these sessions periodically, we'll have one more. You might want to go ahead and put this date down, April 25th. Is that right, Brian Levon? April 25th, 12 noon. We'll have another brown bag session. but we're going to continue this. And then in the fall, we'll have our culminating learner-centered teaching conference, okay? There is so much, and because maybe we might be next door to someone or right down the hall from someone, there is so much that we can learn from colleagues. Our colleagues are so rich within knowledge, the nature, their experience, but sometimes we don't even lean on our collegiate environment, much less go outside our environment. But we're going to lean on each other. This is a project where administrators, faculty, we're learning from each other. So those are the two questions I want you to think about, and I'm going to come back to you on that. So I'm just telling you a little bit about the project. Dr. McLaurin, he was gracious enough to join us. He's been very instrumental in funding capacity building grants, or standing up for the funding concerning capacity building grants. This particular project was funded last year and is funded until for a 3-year period, 18 and 19, 19, 20, 22, 21, with a possible extension, okay? Our overall goal is to enhance, I'm sorry, I went too fast there. Our overall goal, one of the objectives is to enhance student learning by developing culturally responsive and learner-centered teaching capacity, build teacher partnerships among faculty, teachers, extension educators, undergraduate and graduate students, build community and university partnerships, develop informal learning teaching partnerships, build online professional development partnerships, and build collaborative university teaching partnerships. You've probably heard of the term communiversity, right? Building those relationships beyond the boundaries of our own universities, reaching out to other universities outside of our silos, right? And even within our community, okay? Another goal, and I'm getting ready to solicit responses about why you think learner-centered teaching is important. One of the other goals of the project, of course, is to develop online professional development courses for teachers for successful implementations of learner-centered teaching approaches to teaching. We've learned it's a matriculation process. Whatever they're learning in high school, it normally matriculates over to when they get into college. And some students have never learned to work in cooperative groups, have never learned active learning, service learning, demonstration learning. And in some cases, they may have a overflow of learning those particular strategies, but when they get into the regular higher ed classrooms, they fall back into their mode of being a student because the professor is not learner-centered. Okay, another goal is for us to plan 2 national conferences. Dr. Harris, you'll get excited about this one. We have one conference in the fall that will be scheduled in November. We're not sure about the date. It's kind of the beginning of November in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the following year, the next conference will be at Purdue University. Okay, so let's give that a hand. We're excited about that. Okay. The other thing is to redesign LCT modules to include high-touch simulated experiences and culturally engaging strategies, and design a collaborative distance course to engage upper-level graduates and undergraduate students. Okay? Now, the part that involves you is basically our partnership. What I mentioned earlier about the teaching and learning partnership with the different university partners. Okay? So before we get to this particular slide about sharing some of your learner-centered teaching experiences, student engagement experiences at your university, first I want us to dialogue about your definition of why do you think, not so much about your definition, but why do you think learner-centered teaching is important? So anyone can start, and I want to hear from everyone. Anyone that would like to talk?
Dr. Perry Sanders from Tulsa.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, when you speak, if you don't mind, since we have so many administrators and faculty in the room and professionals in the room, could you say your name before you speak? Okay.
Dr. Perry Sanders, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And with our institution here, we have such a diversity in students, is why the learner-centered approaches are important in our institution, is because of our diversity.
Okay. Dr. Harris, you want to piggyback on that?
Yes.
Well, I think our country is diverse, and so it's not really related specifically to this campus. I think it is a national need because we are diverse, and as we do more research and understand how different people learn, we need to incorporate that also.
Hi, this is Christina George.
Make sure you speak loud. Speak loud.
One of the reasons I think learner-centered education and teaching and best practice in teaching is important is because it helps the student be responsible for their own learning. That's why it's so important to have active learning. And in nursing and nursing education, we do a lot of we have simulation, we have labs, we have other things. The onus is put back onto the student to be engaged in their learning. From a standpoint that, you know, we have to have them engaged.
That's a good point in terms of engagement, because we know that the more engaged we are in what we're doing, the more likely we are to retain that information and then transfer that information to other either life situations or learning situations. So that is a really great point.
Okay, I'm Avia Davis, and I just want to add a little bit that you stated earlier. Learning center teaching is important because the focus is basically, the focus of instruction is basically taken from the professor and given to the student. And again, it helps students to be a little bit more independent in producing their works. Certainly, we Learning Center here, we give students opportunity to do observations and then come back and share their findings, for example, case studies and that kind of thing.
I'm kind of here to find out. I know a little bit, but I'm not as familiar with people who are running the show here.
Okay. Yes.
Learner Center. It's not teacher, professor center.
I want you to repeat that again. And say it loud.
Here is Learner Center, not professor center. When I started teaching, I was teaching myself. But gradually, I learned how to communicate and reach the student, reach the learner. Fortunately, I was trained for the component in terms of learner's background, learner's motivated, the learner challenges, the learner is not well. learn. Because, for example, classroom discipline. If there's no discipline in the class, nobody's going to learn. The learners are not going to learn. Also, learners have ability. You have to give the climate where they are. And in addition, you also come to their level, bring knowledge to them by looking at the level they are. Because if you talk about their level, then that's not learner-centered. You create a climate where what you're saying, where they see that what you are saying is beneficial to them, and where they also get motivated that they are going to be successful at the end of the day with that kind of experience. Otherwise, if that kind of an environment is not structured to help them see that, we're going very far.
I'd like to piggyback on what the gentleman said. When he first started, he talked about that, he started at the beginning teaching himself. One of the things that I've been teaching for 9 years, and I started my moved to Langston this year, and I spent 9 years at this school. And one of the things that I realized is that learner centered teaching and active teaching is messy. It really is. It takes a lot of work on the faculty member. And one of the things that I brought into my approach is that, one of the things I tell students is that with practice, you get better. Teaching is a practice. Every time we do something, there's an opportunity to reflect and then to improve. And I always tell my students whenever I try something new, hey, it looks great. And when I push it out into the classroom, it may not work out so well, but it's up to them to tell me what worked and what didn't work so that I can help on the next time round, which goes back to what he was saying, in that we have to speak to them at the area they are, as well as to motivate them for what they're trying to be or
Great point. Anyone else at Langston campus? Okay. Brian, would you like to comment?
Just, I've been at this a long time. I'm an old high school teacher, and now I've been at the university for 10 years here at the University of Kentucky. And one of the things is we got to kind of find out whether our students are ready for it and how to scaffold the process to take ownership of their learning process. We've done a lot of work here at University of Kentucky, and there's a lot of resilience for students to take on their own learning processes. And they have emotional reactions right out the gate. And so working through that, resistance often stops instructors. And working through that is probably something that would benefit a lot of folks to get through.
Mm-hmm. So if they're with you for a semester, how long does it take for them to work out the resistance level between your students, or is that contingent upon the student?
Well, it's about the student and also the rapport built by the instructor.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quite hear what you said, Dr. McGowan. What level?
I asked him the question. He said that at some point implementing learner-centered teaching in his classroom, there's a level of resistance. And I guess what I was asking him, as the semester goes on, that level of resistance, does it go down? Does he see that they kind of comply? And Brian, go ahead and give your response.
I just said that a lot of times it'll take a little bit for them to get over that, but you can do it in a semester. As long as you have rapport with the students and show that you care, it goes a long way towards their trust in allowing them to learn in a different manner.
That's 100% true. If your students know that you're doing this because you care about them, you want them to succeed, and there's a difference between discipline and punitive behaviors by faculty. So that does also have to be taken into account that we say learner-centered, you can also be student-centered, and not,
Okay, Sharia, you want to comment on that? Comment on your view?
Trying to figure out how to mute and unmute. I'm sorry. Yes, well, within the classroom, I come from an early childhood special ed arena in my early teaching years. And so the implementation of a learner-centered teaching kind of goes in line with kind of, what is it, differentiated instruction and kind of teaching to learning styles, but with a perspective that the student does indeed kind of have to take more responsibility than they're accustomed to having to take. And at my institution, with my methods used within the classroom, I really didn't have any pushback. They were really kind of excited about having the diversity in the instructional process, because they were so accustomed to individuals with terminal degrees that really didn't understand the teaching process kind of standing in front of them and talking at them. And for them to have some level of interactiveness in the setting, kind of having a voice in the instructional process, it's been really wonderful for the last years, because once I started, I never stopped utilizing the techniques in any of my classes.
Awesome. Can we hear from University of Pine Bluff?
Absolutely. We've actually kind of been chiming in on the conversation with one another, but I believe that, I know learning is a personal, I think, a process or a journey. And I think, again, as some of the others have said, I think the journey is more meaningful when the learner is included in that process. And so I absolutely think you have to consider, as we discussed, the various learning styles, and just making sure that the learner is included in the process. And otherwise, the experience becomes less meaningful. And again, as someone said earlier, the potential for success, I think, is ultimately enhanced when the learner is a part of that process. Keep them engagement.
Okay. Dr. Weiss, Dr. Esters, would you like to comment on that? Your experiences from Purdue University with students?
Yeah, so I think about the question that you posed, which is, why do you think LCT is important? I came up with two reasons. One is, as has been stated, is this notion that it allows you to focus on the student, right? You put the center at the center, the student at the center of everything, of all the entire learning process. And I think anytime you can focus on what the student brings to the table, their experiences, prior learning experiences, was their background experiences, I think it's a win-win for it's a win-win for the entire class. And then I think the second thing I would add to it is that, and I think this is for me the most important thing, is that, and I think WeJ would agree with this comment, is that it allows for the engagement with students of color to a greater degree, which I think is important. All too often, at least on campuses like Purdue, that doesn't always happen. I think many times students of color get lost in the midst of things, and so their voices are muted often. And so anytime you can engage students of color to a greater degree, much like my colleagues at 1890s or at any HBCU, I think that's where we need to strive to be. Because as someone who's graduated from 2 HBCUs, I understand full well what it means to engage with students that look like me and what it takes. And so the degree which we can do that at PWIs, I just think that there's more than enough opportunity for us to work together on this project moving forward, so that some of these fine practices that you all do on your campuses, 1890s I'm speaking of, are then transferred to our campuses. So that's why I wanted to kind of contribute to the conversation.
Mm-hmm. We have a comment here. Great comments.
I'm Professor Chua, for reasonable time, and I've been observing the learning style of the students and how they relate to the professors. We have diverse society. Diverse society means we get students from different key strengths, different preparation. Especially underground college like this one, we have those kind of students who have, some have been told mathematics is difficult for you, don't go, just move on. In preparation of junior high school, we get students who do not have strong background in that kind of analytical sciences. So then we get some students who have come with strength in analytical sciences. As I have observed, this comes out to level of the we call it, I think I would call it the, how we keep students in the schools, in universities. Mm-hmm. It comes up to this workshop, and I feel this wonderful workshop, because if students come to us with different backgrounds, some have strong mathematics, some don't have anything, some, you have to figure out middle ground. And that's what we call teaching that diversity. Mm-hmm. We have different style of teaching and different style of learning. So you have the professor has to figure out a middle ground whereby you cannot just leave the basic student, but take everybody into the line whereby you give the objectives, the goals, the mission, and at the same time to alert everybody that, look, this is it, we are gonna go this and finish it, the program. So that's why it is important that we look at diversity and how do we, as professors, meet our ground, accommodate everyone who is teaching to us without letting anybody to drop out of the program.
Very good point. Okay. Any comments? Dr. Stallings? It looks like he's working on his mic there. I'm sure he'll say something to us a little later. Okay. Any other comments? Dr. Weiss, you want to comment on that?
Yes, Dr. McGowan, thank you. One of the things that I was thinking about as people were sharing was that the person who does the teaching is the person who's doing the thinking. And I learned that a lot in my class from a student-centered perspective, that the more that they were required to engage in discussion and share thoughts, the more their thinking evolved to include the topics that we had set forth as objectives. And so really getting their minds on is extremely important, and one of the ways that you can assure that you do that is to have them discuss with one another, to share their thoughts out loud and pick up on where they have their strengths and how they can build strength with one another, and then what you need to add as the teacher so that you're not up there repeating information they already have a solid foundation of, but you haven't learned that because you haven't tested them yet. So just engaging them in discussion, getting their thinking through their talking, I think is beneficial for the students and the teachers.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a hard question because we're getting close to 12, so I know we have to go. Dr. Baer, I want to hear from you. As an expert in reading, an author, a publisher, tell us your view on it.
Well, I've enjoyed listening to everybody. I think we all want to. I think the difficulties were interesting. I have a note that I'll share. I'll put it up. I'll go ahead and send it. Most of my teaching was in a practicum setting. So when it came to diversity, for example, I had students. I made sure that we were in diverse settings. A lot of my students were not used to being in a diverse, working with students from different backgrounds. So I made sure to do that. I used to spend a lot more time asking students, how are we going to learn what we're supposed to learn? And here are the goals and objectives, and we do a lot of planning. And sometimes the students got sort of frustrated. They wanted me to tell them how I wanted them to learn these goals and objectives. But I was stubborn about it pretty much. That's why practicum teaching is so powerful, because you have the child right there tutoring with us. But when I don't have a practicum, how are they going to take responsibility for their learning? I usually try to get out in the field and try to make sure there's some public utility. Another rule I have is I don't grade students unless they grade themselves. That gives them another sense of responsibility. But students often want to be told things, and I try not to tell them anything. I also don't lecture anymore, even though I'm lecturing right now. I just don't lecture anymore. I put my lectures on tape and do them at home like this, and then we use class time for discussion and elaborating. So thank you for letting me share. And then I posted on the chat some of the ideas that I just shared.
Dr. Bear, what did you notice was the difference when you use, I guess you're talking about the discussion based, the Socratic method of teaching, questioning?
Well, that's right. And for teaching comprehension, that's what I do. I ask them, what do you know about this topic if it's nonfiction, or what do you think this story is going to be about? And then I wait for them to tell me what they think it's going to be about. And there's a level of discomfort there. But the onus is on them. So it is the Socratic method. So I ask, what do you think this story is going to be about? And they often say, I don't know. And they expect me to say, I know you don't know, but what do you think this story is going to be about? So they're used to me saying, I know you don't know, but what do you think? And if I can't get them to talk, then I sort of stop right there and expect them to get talking more. Excuse me.
Someone is cheering you on in this room. What did you say?
I'm so happy to hear you say that. I tell them at the get-go, if you don't talk to me, we can't discuss things. And I have done flipped classroom. I move my whole model. I do 15-minute snippets over big topics. We come into class, we do case studies. We do where I'll take a chart and I'll literally, in fact, as an aside, on this Monday when I held class and we got all the way through class, I looked at the students and I said, do you realize there was not a single PowerPoint in this room today? That it was just us talking about the information and doing active learning because they had already had the information. It was preloaded to them. It's their responsibility and their onus to read the book and to take away the better content. My responsibility is to say, here's the direction of that content.
Just to add on that, I'm Franklin Funjo, the chair of the Department of Technology from the School of Art and Science. And personally, I teach all those computing, computer-related, and all those mathematics-related courses. And the question about what do you think, most of the time will not work for me, because most of the time they walk into the classroom where they don't know anything about what's going on. Mm-hmm. Each chapter is a new topic. That means taking into account that they are coming from somewhere where they don't have any background, especially in math, that can give them the critical thinking to be able to guess what can happen in that class. Then it becomes a challenge to be able to do a center, student like learner center. Of course, I apply that in my class, pushing them to be the one to talk, pushing them to be the one to read. But what if a student doesn't understand what he's reading because of the background? Where do we start?
But you have to start where they're at. So I make charts of what they make the charts of what they know. And then you'll be a better teacher because you know what they don't know. But
to pick on that again, yes, you know what they don't know. But how fast can you bring them from where they don't, from that point to the point where you have to bring them to be able to understand what you want to do? That's the problem we face here. Because most of the time, the student that we have in our class, they have the level of mark is almost 0, not -1.
By the way, that gets you into a good topic, which is disciplinary literacy, is how to read in your discipline. And so I would want them to say, well, okay, well, how would we find out? And I wonder what resources they have. I mean, do they know about the dictionaries in your field? How do they read your topic different than they read in another topic area? But I appreciate your problem. I do understand.
Yeah, that's where I start most of the time. I point to them that the first problem is reading, right? Because if they can read, now I give them more resources, because in my class, I'm always giving them, I believe that in today's learning environment, we don't need to, the teacher doesn't have, or the professor doesn't have a place. Because if a student knows that there are resources out there, videos, text, that can help him gain confidence in what he can do. What I see in my class, when the student pick up, the student will go so fast, right? Because that student knows now that they can think by themselves. They don't need you. They just come to you to ask for confirmation on some of the thing. And that's what I believe, that is if you can do this in this type of setting, that's good. But most of the time, from the type of student we are talking about, it's so difficult to bring them up.
And then what about the students that are on the high level, yes, that sometimes you water it down for the students that are average students that are in the class when you have students that are on a high level. So you have to come to a happy medium, I think, at all times. I think Dr. Davis had a comment. We're going to have to.
I wanted to say one thing is that as a part of this learning center approach, we know that a part of it is constructive history. And so we must start with the students into their abilities and their learning style. And I think that's very key.
Giving them the tools to construct the knowledge that they need in order to be successful in the class that they're in.
Correct.
Yes.
But a lot of people have, I think it's a balance. Very familiar with the constructivist theory, constructivism, educational philosophy. Within a larger range of philosophies called rationalism. Rationalism is belief that reason is the primary source of knowledge and that knowledge is constructed rather than discovered. So really you're giving the students the opportunity to construct some of their learning experiences. But Dr. Harris and I have the dialogue all the time about students, what we need to do, what you think I should do, give me some advice. When you have to know when that balance is there of letting them construct some of those learning experiences, sometimes students will take advantage of that. So it just depends on your teaching philosophy. But we're going to look at a lot of things. This is just the first brown bag seminar. This is just the first one. But Plato, he says it best, that we live in shadows of caves of doubt and distortion until we receive enlightenment. And enlightenment, what's on that other side of the door, the education process. What's on that other side? And a lot of our students, as you mentioned, never tip sometimes to the other side. And then sometimes, how many of us, and be honest with me, when you were in school, it was the typical lecture. It was the typical lecture. Anyone? Dr. McLaurin, was it the typical lecture? Is everybody nodding? Mostly typical. I'm talking about out of 100%, tell me what percent of your educational experience, I'm not talking about your doctoral experience, I'm just talking about most of your educational experience. What percentage of it was the typical lecture experience? Anyone want to give me some numbers?
Well, I would say 100% because of nursing in practice. So you can't always be in a classroom setting, but anytime we were in a classroom setting through my undergraduate degree, it was basically, blah. It was the only time that learning became active is when we had to activate the knowledge we had in the lab. So there was a little bit of a difference there.
in the sciences, the volume of information, and this is true in math too, that you have to accumulate in order to be able to use those tools to process the information and discuss it is pretty immense compared to some of the other fields. And because of that, we have had for decades the labs and the lectures separated out so that they could be introduced to the information and then apply it and learn how to discuss it in the lab. So the idea of a learning-centered approach has always been divided up from, when I say learning-centered, they're both learning-centered, but as was brought up a second ago, the lecture is there to provide them the tools, and then in the lab, the instructor turns around and shows them how to use it and also discusses it with them and gets that interaction one-on-one in between the groups. So that's where the confusion, I think, comes up when they are talking about literature. All of us have learned letters and words and sentence structure by what is it, about second grade? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to calculus and that, we know what a number is, but understanding the complex associations is much, they've got to go back to learning like first graders, essentially. But they got to do it in a much shorter period of time. Okay. And it causes confusion between the math and science and the literature people when we use examples. I think that's what was going on here with my friend in computer sciences.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna have to don't leave yet. I'm gonna have to close it down. But before we leave, I need you to tell me, because we're gonna do at least a Brownbag collaboration seminar between faculty across different universities and administrators across the United States. I need to know, what topics are you interested in seeing? Even though it's learner-centered teaching, that's our overall arching thing, but what are you interested in seeing on the seminar agendas as far as learner-centered? What are you interested in? Tell me now.
One of the things that one of the previous speakers mentioned was resistance. And I've been thinking a lot about that and trying different things, particularly in online teaching.
That's great, Dr. Harris. Okay, we have one here.
Assessment, formative and summative assessment, and that could piggyback into the online platform as well. As we look to break down the barriers to active learning in the online setting, then how do you assess them?
Okay. Brian, you got that? He's got it, okay. Sharia? Dr. Mackey?
Yes, ma'am, I'm a little slow unmuting. Got it.
One of the other things that I would be interested in is going back to two conversations, one related to math, and then your quoting Plato and enlightenment. And I think in those courses in which I've been successful that are related to math and or statistics, there was time spent on why this is important before we went to the how. And
unfortunately, other faculty doesn't say that. They say that this is the way you can arrive the answer, and that's about it.
And
I try to do it. Yeah. Well, when we calculate the slope in business, we are talking about the rate of increase, and we need to incorporate it in our teaching business statistics, for example. What we are doing.
Dr. Lewis, you're quiet back there.
Very much so.
Is there
just in my general sense of learning center, I'm seeing the benefits of it when students are allowed to have a voice, you know, and I like to reciprocate somewhat of a reciprocal relationship, meaning that it's not a traditional perspective where it's linear, where I teach them and they learn. And they seem to respect the process better when I take that model by allowing them to be included, you know, in the dialogue and to take the lead on it. And I think that type of shared learning environment promotes a conducive and healthy environment overall.
All right. Dr. Baer? University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, any topics you would like to see the group for us to discuss?
We don't have any topics at the moment, no.
Okay. Can you check with Dr. Carr based on your
Certainly.
needs, based on your needs at your university?
Certainly.
Perfect. Dr. Stallings? I don't know if Kenneth can hear us. Dr. Stallings, if you have any topics that you would like us to address during the Brownbag seminars, LCT seminars, please email it to me. Okay. Dr. Bear?
Same thing. I'm interested in the topics that were coming up. The challenges of online learning and involving people with the online learning is a special trick, I think.
Okay. Any of our professors that you happen to work in labs, research, anything that you want us to research and address for you as a group? Can you think of anything? All right, okay. All right, Brian, Levon?
No, I don't have anything at this time. I thought today was well organized and well delivered. So until next time.
All right, I think that kind of, we got a comment over here. And remember our next meeting is April 25th, 12 noon.
So it's a Wednesday.
Wednesday, 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. April 25th. And then we won't have another one until the fall. Okay? Y'all prefer to start back in August or September?
September.
Okay.
August is a hectic month for us.
Okay. So, and I want you to come at your leisure because like I said, we're learning from each other. We're learning from each other. This is awesome. The most unique and enriching experience is learning from each other. So April 25th, same time, same place. Any questions and or concerns?
No, just thank you very much for organizing this opportunity.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, Dr. Harris. Thank you, faculty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Team partners, faculty at Purdue University, faculty at Southern University, University of Pine Bluff, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Dr. Stallings, Brian, University of Kentucky, all Langston University faculty, and Dr. McLaurin, of course, from USDA, and all of our other faculty members that if I haven't called your name or I didn't mention, and you logged on and I didn't know, because I know we had Dr. Barbetti, she was here also. Dr. McLaurin, we said thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I had to take a phone call just for a couple minutes, but I really appreciated the discussion. Excellent and rich discussion on the topic of the learner-centered instruction. I also appreciate the fact that you have such a broad diversity of participants, students, different faculty members. So I from NIFA, I think the work that you're doing is definitely representative of the type of quality of projects that we are aiming to fund and we enjoy funding projects that will really change the impact of teaching programs. So congratulations to you and your team. Best wishes for continued success.
And thank you for our support staff today. Mr. Gaffney, he's always there with technology and helping us. Dr. Lewis on his end, Dr. Harris, Sergeant Payma, Brian for taking our notes for us and with the Zoom, connecting with the Zoom. And just spread the word. Let other faculty members know, administrators know, because sometimes it's hard for us to do what we need to do if we don't have the administrative support. So that's why at first I was just going to curtail it just to faculty. I said, oh, no. Because at one time, within that particular lifetime, normally that administrator has been a faculty member. And what better way to reach the heart? I was always told from many presidents that the heart and the soul of a university is the faculty. So, but what better way to reach the faculty than to reach our administrators too? So we want our administrators there. So I'll make sure I send out the date to you. And if something happens that I forget, I know you'll remind me. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.